going to stick with us for the panel, so I know we're going to have a chance to dive in some more with you this morning. But I want to take a quick break from sort of some of that and do a speed round.
Sure.
So underrated or overrated? You tell me if something is underrated or overrated in your mind. And we'll start with, that's a topic that we already touched on this morning, this topic of virtual reality. Do you feel it's underrated or do you feel it's overrated?
And I'm going to parrot Mike now. Certainly, we believe in the short term it is significantly overrated. We do believe, though, as was expressed by the CLO, that there are huge opportunities there, and we're testing some of that now. We're meeting with Microsoft. We're utilizing the Holo goggles, but we think it's 2-3 years before it really becomes commercial. Those assets are very pricey right now, and we deliver value at scale, and certainly not something that we can bring into kind of how we deliver.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear where you think the opportunities are, where you're starting to see them develop. Andrea mentioned it's sort of putting people into an emotional context. You actually see the impact of some of the decisions that you make in an environment. Are you seeing any places that there's little shoots where you think maybe it'll be more valuable here versus there?
Yep, so we agree with Andrea that notion of emotional context is critical. We measure success in many of our businesses by Net Promoter Score, how we're doing with our service experience. But we also believe that it allows us to simulate our systems as well, right? So as we think about the training we do for bankers, for tellers, it's capital intensive. Individuals need to simulate transactional processing, whether it's an opening an account or processing a transaction, and being able to simulate that via this augmented reality is something that appeals to us significantly, given the investment we have today in the CapEx for moving individuals through in classroom instruction around these assets.
Okay, 2 more questions for you. The concept of ROI. We talked about the business link, but do you feel like the concept of ROI of learning is overrated or underrated?
Well, I just talked to you about our bureaucratic process and our QBR.
And you're with the bank, so we understand that ROI is kind of baked in there.
Yeah, so from our perspective, ROI is underrated, and I do believe that there is just immense traceability around the work that we do. I think sometimes it's hard to illustrate that, but when we're able to crack that code, we're able to articulate to those senior executives within our organization the value in a much more vivid, a much more high fidelity way of the work that we're doing as professionals in the organization, helping with their transformation journey. So solving that, I think, is critical, and to the extent that we can solve it and can speak to our CFO in a way that articulates ROI against the set of investments that we need to support the business, I think gives us a greater, it allows us to punch over our weight as a learning organization.
So it shows the seriousness of what you do.
That's right.
And is it a number, or is it, as you mentioned, it's sort of a high fidelity experience? Is it stories that you tell that go along with that number? I mean, is it a combination of both? Are you called on for a number?
And I won't say that we're called on for a number, right? And one of the questions we may get today is, what is the one thing? What's the one good career question or good career advice? Thank you for bailing me out there. Or the bad career advice. And I think as professionals, we understand it's never one thing. It's never one thing. It is a bundle. And we need to understand how that bundle is calibrated depending upon the executive, the business we're facing off against. So no, I don't think, as I think about ROI, I don't think about it as a singular number. I think about it as what are the bundle of key performance indexes that we're reaching for, as an enterprise, and how do we illustrate very thoughtfully, very effectively how the work that each of us are doing are helping deliver the level of human talent that's necessary to attain that and more.
Mm-hmm. All right, one more underrated, overrated. Bank branches. Are they underrated or overrated in this world that we live in?
Are we being recorded?
You can pass politically if you need to.
I would say that branch banking are branch, thanks, or whatever. It's early in the morning, I haven't had my enough coffee. I would say that it's underrated. And what's happening now, and it's happening right before our eyes, is that the real estate footprint of all of our organizations are changing radically. I gave you my example of 1996, 30 Rock. Please go by there if you have a chance. There's no branches there anymore, right? But the fact of the matter is we serve probably twice the amount of customers that we've served in the past, and that's without that real estate footprint. So I think what we will see is a reconfiguration of the branch system. I think the transactional elements are moving to our phone, right? As we think about being able to take photos of checks, check our balances, transact funds. So I think what we'll see is a reconfiguration of that network, but I do believe that we need advice as consumers, whether it's around getting money for college, a mortgage, if you're a business loans, transactional systems to support your business, reporting processes, and I think as a result of that, we'll see the branch becoming more of an advice center than its historic footprint as a transactional center, somewhere someone goes to cash a check or get cash.
Last one, Bitcoin. Underrated, overrated.
Well, being that our CEO talked about it being a fraud, I'm going with him.
All right. Please join me in thanking Jesse.